In this video we are going to be exploring if 2 plus 2 always equals 4, or if it can sometimes equal something else. I have seen a clip on the internet of Pastor Peter LaRufa saying that if the Bible said that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 that he would believe it. When I see this clip being played they are always making fun of the idea of 2 plus 2 equaling anything but 4. You may say that even a small child knows that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, but I don't think that this is always correct. But before I explain how 2 plus 2 can equal something other than 4, let's watch the clip.
If somewhere within the Bible, I were to find a passage that said 2 plus 2 equals 5, I wouldn't question what I'm reading in the Bible. I would believe it, accept it as true, and then do my best to work it out and to understand it.
That clip is from a documentary on HBO called Questioning Darwin. It is a pretty good documentary and it is still on HBO's app at the time I made this video. I would definitely recommend you check it out if you are interested and would like to see the context that the pastor made the statement in. So let's see if we can solve this equation. The equation is 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, but I think the purpose of this equation is to say that 2 plus 2 does not always have to equal 4. So I think if we can show that 2 plus 2 equals anything other than 4, that will serve as an answer to this equation. Not only do I think that I can make 2 plus 2 equal 5, but I also think I can make 2 plus 2 equal to 0 as well. To solve this equation we are going to need to use some out-of-the-box thinking, so I am going to start with the equation 0 is equal to 0 and end with the equation 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. 0 is equal to 0 is a pretty simple equation and I think that everyone can agree that it is mathematically correct. We can also write the equation 0 is equal to 0 as 20 minus 20 is equal to 25 minus 25. Even though the two equations are written differently they both still have a value of 0. We can also take the equation of 20 minus 20 is equal to 25 minus 25 and write it as 4 times 5 minus 4 times 5 is equal to 5 times 5 minus 5 times 5. All three of these equations still equal the same thing. 0. Now this equation is getting pretty long so let's shorten it up a bit. We can take the 4 times 5 minus 4 times 5 and write it as 4 times 5 minus 5. And we can take the 5 times 5 minus 5 times 5 and write it as 5 times 5 minus 5 and all of these equations are still equal to 0. Now this is where it gets interesting. Since we have 5 minus 5 on both sides of the equation, they cancel each other out. And therefore we can remove the 5 minus 5 from both sides of the equation. After we remove the 5 minus 5 from both sides of the equation we are left with 4 on one side and 5 on the other side. Or 4 is equal to 5. And if 4 can be equal to 5, and we can write 4 as 2 plus 2, then 2 plus 2 can be equal to 5. So now that we see that 2 plus 2 can equal 5 let's look at another example of how math can be interpreted differently. If you look at the equation 3 plus 3 is equal to 8, at first thought you would probably say that there is no way that this equation can be correct. But if you take one of the 3's and flip it upside down, and then push the two 3's together you can form an 8 out of the two 3's. And therefore 3 plus 3 can in fact equal 8. Now I know that a lot of people are going to say, that technically I broke some rules of mathematics with the ways I solved those two equations. And that is true I did break some of the rules of mathematics by making 0 is equal to 0 equations, and also by flipping the 1 3 upside down. But that is a lot of the point that I am trying to make, the rules of mathematics are made up by people and they only apply to people who agree to follow those rules. Our made-up rules have no effect on the universe and the natural world. Some people believe that humans can make a rule like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 and that all of the universe has to accept it as truth. But this way of thinking is delusional. The rules of mathematics are made up by people and we have changed the rules for math a lot since humans first came up with the idea of math. If our rules for math were absolute truths we would not have been able to change them as we developed mathematics over the years. And a lot of our rules and systems are different in different places and for different people. I live in the US and I measure distances in feet and I measure volume in gallons, but someone living overseas might measure distance in meters and volume in liters. And you may ask which one of us is measuring correctly. But in reality neither of us are correct, we are both using made-up systems with pretend values. Just because you find something that says something different than what you believe or what you have been taught does not mean that it is wrong. The Bible has a lot of parables and metaphors in it, and sometimes it can be very difficult to understand what the Bible is saying, but just because something is difficult to understand does not mean that it is wrong. If you dismiss everything in life that you don't understand as being wrong, you will not learn very much. I also have another example of 2 plus 2 not equaling 4 that I wanted to discuss. I have heard a lot of people use the term, put 2 and 2 together. And they are using this term to express using available knowledge to come to an obvious conclusion. But I have seen a lot of people try to put 2 and 2 together and get nothing. So not only can 2 plus 2 equal 5, but 2 plus 2 can also equal nothing. So if 2 plus 2 can equal nothing, and nothing can be expressed as 0, then 2 plus 2 can also equal 0. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my thoughts. Please like, subscribe and share, and let me know what you think in the comments. And let me know if there is any part of the Bible that you would like my big-headed opinion on for future videos.